Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you are doing well. As we are reaching the end of the semester, as the time I'm filming this, I have about 3 weeks left. I'm thinking a lot about studying and how I should be doing more of it. There are a lot of resources out there for law students to use when they're studying throughout the semester, or specifically for the crunch time that I'm kind of in now. And I thought it would be useful for me to go over some of those resources with you so that you don't have to necessarily figure them out as you go, like I am. Pretty much the first thing that you'll learn about, and probably the main thing you'll learn about in your law school research and writing courses, are programs like Lexis, Westlaw, and maybe even Bloomberg. I'm not that familiar with Bloomberg, but Lexis and Westlaw especially are probably the main ones that you would use in practice as well. And so those are the ones that I would recommend getting the most familiar with. Students and professionals usually have one of the two as their favorites and go-to. For me, it's Westlaw. I really like their keynote system and the ease of moving around in the website, but Lexis has its perks too. Lexis will give you points that you can then spend and redeem on products and gift cards. I think I've gotten like $45 of Amazon gift cards just out of my very minimal use of Lexis. For some reason, it doesn't work on my computer, and I can't figure out why. Both Westlaw and Lexis have lots of other resources too that they are happy to tell you about. These companies' whole goal with law students is to expose them to all of the available resources and kind of tools and kits that their websites offer, so that when you go into practice, you will be willing to purchase those services or convince your employers to do so. Beyond research though, what I'm mostly doing nowadays is just straight up looking at my class notes and trying to figure out a way to organize them. One program I used a lot last year that I talked about in a vlog then about finals week is a program called MindMeister, which allows you to mind map your notes and the concepts and how they all relate together. There are some other programs that allow you to do similar things and also organize your notes in a helpful way. I use Evernote on a daily basis, but I think there's another one that was promoted to us that I haven't used yet. I'll put it on the screen here in case you want to check it out. But sometimes your own notes are just not enough. You're not getting it, and you need someone else to re-explain the material to you because the way that your professor understands it just isn't clicking. That's a big reason that I've used free or free to me services like Quimbee or Studicata's YouTube channel. I'm also part of a group called Lawdio, which I mentioned in last week's video, which is a growing podcast that has law students reading seminal cases from different areas of law. So if you want to check out those case recordings and get a sense of the types of cases you'll be studying in law school now, or you want to use it later when you're reviewing cases actually in law school classes, I will link that channel down below. And I just mentioned Studicata, which is a YouTube channel that I love. I think that there are probably other channels that do a similar thing, but this is the one that I used a lot, especially in my first year classes. I think their free videos are mostly geared toward getting you to buy their course, so I can't speak to any of their paid content, but the free stuff on their channel is awesome and I would highly recommend it. The last service I've already mentioned is Quimbee, which is a quite expensive paid service, but one that my law school as well as several others provide for free to their students. I cannot express to you how useful this thing is. Not only does it give you case briefs, fact summaries, and issue identification for pretty much every single case that you're going to read in law school, maybe with the exception of a couple ones that just aren't that important anyway, but it will also give you animated video summaries for all of the most important cases in pretty much every class you can take at law school. Visualization, if you can't tell, is kind of a big deal for me. I really like it when somebody can put an image or a chart or something in front of me that explains what in the heck they're talking about. I've also recently learned that Quimbee also has practice exams, multiple choice questions, and sample outlines for pretty much every single class, and I will definitely be jumping on that soon. My 1L year, I got access to Barbry's 1L Mastery course, which had similar features, and I believe if you pay for Barbry, you can also get those materials for upper classes as well, but Quimbee has them the whole way through. and I'm very excited to use them. I will keep you updated if I find any especially useful. But that leads me to the last resource that I want to mention, which is probably the most important one and one that should be free to you, which is what is available to you from your peers and professors at your law school. Ask people who have taken the class before you to give you their outlines. That will really demonstrate what was important, what stood out to them. Don't rely on those outlines as your own. They might not be totally accurate, but they're certainly a good starting place and can help you put into context things that you're learning as you learn them. And then sample exams from professors are usually available through the library, but the professor might distribute them themselves as well. You're definitely going to want to take those as you study because it's literally the entire thing your grade is based on, is that last exam. So if you can get practice doing an exam, I think it's pretty self-explanatory how that would be helpful. The ones that I find the most useful are those that we have model or even better sample answers to. So model answers are usually referring to past exam answers from students that the professor thought was good for one reason or another. Those answers aren't going to be perfect and they won't cover every issue, unlike sample answers, which at least at WashU usually refers to the answer that the professor wrote for the question to grade students' answers off of. If you can get a professor to give you a past exam with their sample answer, that is your best bet for approaching how a professor writes an exam question and expects you to write the answer to that question. I don't feel like this was my most organized video, if I'm being honest. I'm a little scatterbrained right now because I'm about to register for classes, which is a whole nother thing that I'll probably talk about in a later video. Actually might film that. So sorry if this was disorganized or not that interesting, but just to recap the list of resources that I think are helpful when you're studying and when you're trying to be a good law student are sample exams, past outlines, Quimbee, Barbary, Lexis, Westlaw, maybe Bloomberg if you can figure out how to use it. Programs like Evernote and MindMeister and that other one that I put at the bottom of the screen, and YouTube channels like Lawdio or Studicata that can help you understand what you're doing as you do it. I sincerely hope that you found some nugget of helpfulness in this video. Either way, I will see you guys next Saturday with another video, and until then, God bless.